Record. It is recorded now. Okay. Good morning, students. Shall I start? Response, please.
Yes, sir.
Now, sorry for the delay for the class today. Now, today, our regular syllabus, we move into the regular syllabus, that is the data science, probability and statistics, that is the first unit, data science. Now, coming to the definition of data science is the science which uses computer science, statistics, and machine learning, visualization, and human-computer interactions to collect, clear, integrate, analyze, visualize, interact with the data to create data products. That means it is the science which uses in computer science and the statistics as well as in machine learning and visualization and HCI, human computer interactions. And using this, we have to collect and clearing the data and integrating and analyzing and visualizing that data. We have to create the new products of the data. Now, data science stands for study of processes and systems that extract knowledge or insight from data in various forms, either structured or unstructured. It is very, very important. Sometimes it is structured and unstructured. Sorry. Structured and unstructured. Now, these are this one. That means it is used in various studies for process and systems. That extracts the knowledge regarding the data. We have to put in form of a data. Either it may be a structured data or unstructured data. Now again we move into the data science is the combination of source of fields such as statistics, data mining, and predictive analysis. That means it is a science which is a combination of statistics and the fields of statistics and data mining. This is data mining that we have to study in your computer science subject also. Is it right? Now again, the goal of data science is turn data into data products. That is very, very important. While studying the data science, we are going to turn into data products. We make some new products related to the data. And the data science is querying the past tense and the present tense and future also. It is uses the querying the past values and the present values and future values also. And data science explores many models, build and tune many hybrids, understand empirical properties of the models. That means it builds the new models also to empirical and new data unlocks. This is the small introduction related to the data science. And again, the next topic, our original topic, that is known as the statistics. This is a very, very important thing for statistics. Now, nowadays, in order to learn something, you must first collect data. Whatever the thing you have to do or you have to know regarding something, you have to collect some data. Now, statistics is the art of learning from data. This is a very, very important quotation regarding the statistics also. Statistics is the art of learning from data. Now, coming to the next point, statistics is a branch of mathematics that deals with the collection, analysis, and interpretation of data. This is one of the definition. Statistics may have many number of definitions, then from which we have to use our related definitions also here. That means statistics is a branch of mathematics that deals with the collection and analysis and interpretation of data. Whatever the data in real world we have, from that we have to collect data from first one and analyze the data, and then we have to interpret the data. That is the main motive of statistics. Now again, the next point, statistics is concerned with the scientific methods for collecting, organizing, summarizing, presenting, and analyzing data, as well as with the valid drawing conclusions and making reasonable decisions on the basis of such analysis. This is the definition using some authors in the nowadays in the real world field also. Statistics, which is concerned with the scientific methods for collecting and organizing and summarizing, presenting and analyzing. These are the very, very important point that you have to remember, all of you. That is, collecting the data is one technique, and organizing data is another technique, and summarizing data is another technique. And whatever they have to summarizing data, that we have to present in the data, and again you have to analyzing the data, as well as with the valid drawing conclusion. That is the most important thing, that we have to draw the conclusions regarding the data and making reasonable decisions. After drawing the conclusions, we make some reasonable decisions on the basis of such analysis. This is the important definition related to the statistic. Now, statistics may be defined as the science, collection, presentation, analysis, interpretation of numerical data also. Numerical data also. Now, again further we move into the statistics is classified into two categories. One is the descriptive statistics and other is the inferential statistics. Now, coming to the definition of descriptive statistics. Data should be described and summarized is known as a descriptive. That means any data in the real world, we have to describe the data and summarize the data is known as a descriptive data. Such type of statistics is known as descriptive statistics. For that descriptive data, we have to use the statistics which is known as a descriptive statistics. Again, descriptive statistics are the numbers that are used to summarize and describe the data. That means in descriptive data, we have to use the numbers that are used to summarize the descriptive data. And again, descriptive statistics is just descriptive. It is not generalizing beyond the data at hand. We should not beyond that and generalizing the topic regarding beyond ourselves, because descriptive statistics is consisting the numbers only. Therefore, it is consisting the numbers, it means it gives the real valued clear cut values also. Therefore, we should not generalizing this descriptive data. Now, descriptive statistics is the collection of methods for summarizing data. For example, we have to use the methods for descriptive statistics which are known as measures of central tendency and measures of variance, variability. That means in measures of central tendency, we have to use the measuring characteristics which are known as the averages, which is mean, median and mode. These three are already we have to study in 10th class or intermediate, I think so. Therefore, here also we have to use the mean, median and mode, which are the measuring characteristics for using or calculating the measures in descriptive statistics for collecting the data for the regular source that you have to use in the present analysis. Now, ranges and variance and graphs are also the measuring characteristics for this descriptive statistics. And again we move into the inferential statistics. Yet statistics concerned with the drawing conclusions, a statistics concerned with the drawing conclusions is called inferential statistics. That means when you draw the collection of data and we have to draw the conclusions for that data, and you have to inference for that data, which is known as the inferential statistics. That means we have to say that inferential statistics is a collection of methods for using sample data to make conclusions about population. For any data, we suppose we are collecting a data in a class, number of heights of the students in a class. That means starting from 5 feet to 6 feet. That is the data around between the 5 feet and 6 feet, or 4.5 feet into 5 feet. Now collecting all the data and we give the inference for that data, which is known as the inferential calculus. For collecting that heights of the students in a class, we can make the average height, lower height and maximum height in the class also. We have to define in the sense. And again we move into the population versus sample. This is the important topic that we have to study. This topic is also in the 5th unit also. Here only we have to define the definition of population and sample. Now coming to the definition of population, to draw logical conclusions from data, we make some assumptions about chances or probability of obtaining different data values. For anything, we have to make a difference of data by obtaining the probabilities or make the assumptions regarding the data. or we draw the logical conclusions from the data, we obtain the values from different data values. In statistics, we are interested in obtaining the information about the total collection of objects. That means our interest is to collecting the total information regarding the population. Regarding the population means a collection or group of objects or group of elements or group of phenomena or group of things which is known as the population. But census is also sometimes as a population, a group of students in a CSA or group of students in the second year CSA branch. That is known as the population set. Isn't it? Total complete CSC branch in first year, second year, third year. This is also a population set. In VV8 also is a population set. Our number of engineering colleges in J into K is also a population, in which we have to take one set of that population which is known as a sample. That means only CSA is a branch which is related to the VV80 is a sample. From CSA or CSCB or CSCC or CSCD, suppose we have to take 5%. First top 5 students in each section is also a sample for that one. That we have to define the subset of the population. Each and every point of the population, this sample is also having the same properties also. That means the entire set of all possible observations in which we are interested to know is known as the population. Isn't it? That means if the population is too large for us to examine each of its members, it is not so easy. Therefore, we choose some subset of its elements. This subset of population is called sample. That means when you need to find out the marks of each and the students of your class, it is not so possible. Mean mark we can easily possible. Suppose what is the mean mark of CSCA students in the subject P&S total entire the J into K Kakinada? It is not possible to find out. Sometimes it is also possible total by taking the around 10,000 or 50,000 students related to the CSC branch total J into K, or 40,000 students are related to J into K, we can find out the mean mark also. That is a calculation purpose is very too large. In such a phenomena, we have to take some finite subset of population and we can make that measuring characteristics for the samples, which are also useful to use the characteristics of the population also. That is why sample characteristics are important to draw the conclusions regarding the population also. Now, this is a diagram for the population and sample. This is the total population take as the set, from which we have to take some elements which are taking this one as here, which is known as the sample. Is it right? So, this drawing this one is known as the sampling. Drawing elements from the population is known as sampling. After drawing this sample, after drawing this sample, we draw some conclusions to this one and give the inference for this characteristics of this sample and inference total values regarding this population. Isn't it? That is the important technique that we have to use here, is known as the sampling technique that you have to study in the fourth unit in our syllabus. Okay, then again we move to the next one. Right now, what is data? Before previously we are defining data. What is data? Look around you, there is a data everywhere. Each click on your phone, it generates more data than you know. Suppose when you open your mobile phone and Google search, you have to do some searchings, then data will be, enormous data will be stored in your computer, in your cell phone. This is known as the data. Now, data is the collection of information or observations we have about something or facts. This is known as something or facts, and statistics collected for reference or analysis. This is known as the data. Data is the collected information we have about something or facts and statistics collected for reference or analysis. And again, data may be defined as, data can be defined as a group of information that represents qualitative or quantitative attributes. That means data may be either in the quantitative form or qualitative form. Qualitative means some quality related to some quality. Quantitative means some quantity, number size, it is related to the number of types. That are the known as the attributes of the variables or set of variables. Now, again, a collection of facts. What are the facts? Generally, the facts are numbers or words or measurements or observations. These are the some examples related to the facts that has been translated into form that computer can process. All these facts can be converted and translated into the form of computers by using the collections. This generated data provides insights for analysis and helps us make better business decisions. That means it gives the important to make the best business deals and give the conclusions for the business decisions. This is the data. Generally, this data is classified into the following four characteristics. This is first one is the collected and stored, second one is the measured, and the third one is analyzed, and fourth one is visualized. In wherever the data we have, first we have to collect the data and measuring the characteristics of the data. After measuring the characteristics of data, and we have to analyze the data, and after analyzing data we have to visualize the data, and after that we have to give the inference to the related data. This is a very, very important procedure that we have to follow in data science. Now, data refers to facts and statistics collected together for analysis or reference. Data can be collected, measured, and analyzed. This is very, very important. For any data that can be collected or measured and analyzed. It can also be visualized by using statistical models. That is very, very important. After visualizing data, we have to use our statistical models and graphs. Is it right? That's why you have to use the statistics for data science. Statistics for data. It is very, very important in nowadays for software engineers also. And again, categories of data. Categories of data is into two types. Number one, qualitative data, and number two, quantitative data. One is the qualitative data and other is the quantitative data. This is the tree diagram related to the data. This one is qualitative data. This one is quantitative data. In qualitative data, again we have two types of data are there. One is the normal data and other is the ordinal data. Normal data in the sense it is related to the names, not the numeric values. And we should not follow any ranks or any values for this one. And ordinal data means it is consisting the ranks within some order. Ranks in order. Here nominal data we should not follow any ranks or any order of the values. Now coming to the quantitative data, it is again classified into two categories. One is the discrete data and other is the continuous data. Both are the numerical values, and this one gives the discrete values and this one is defined for continuous values. Therefore, data can be classified into two categories. One is qualitative data and other is quantitative data. In qualitative data, again classified into two categories. One is the normal data and other is the ordinal data. In normal data, we should not follow any order or ranking. In ordinal data, we have to follow some order and ranking also. Later we have to see the examples for this one. And coming to the quantitative data, it is defined into two categories. One is the discrete and other is the continuous. Discrete means it is consisting the only discrete values. Continuous means it takes the values between an interval. Now let us see the definition of qualitative data and clearly. Qualitative data, it deals with the characteristics and descriptors that cannot be easily measured but can be observed subjectively. This is very, very important. Qualitative data deals with the characteristics and descriptors that cannot be easily measured but can be observed subjectively. Therefore, qualitative data is further divided into two categories. Data with no inherent order. It cannot follow any inherent order or ranking, such as gender or race for things. For example, male and female, like this. These are the genders. Examples for nominal data. Examples for the nominal data. And again, coming to the definition of ordinal data, data with an ordered series of information, and it follows the order and ranking of the series, is called ordinal data. Now, this is the example for ordinal data. That is customer ID 1, 2, 3, like this, and rating average, bad, good. Suppose we have to take the heights of the students. Height, low, medium. One is the low, and other is the medium, and other is height, maximum height, like this. Low height, medium height, maximum height. These are the examples for ordinal data. Now, coming to the definition of quantitative data. Quantitative means it is measuring characteristic with the numbers. It deals with the numbers. That means we are defining the qualitative data. Quantitative data deals with the numbers and things you can measure objectively. We can measure objectively. That means quantitative data can be further divided into two types. One is the discrete data and other is continuous data. That means discrete data is also known as categorical data. Discrete data is also known as categorical data. It can hold a finite number of values. That means it consisting only a finite number of values. Then we call that one as the discrete data. And number of students in a class. Now coming to the continuous data that can hold an infinite number of values. It consisting the infinite number of values. Weight of a person is varying from one point to the another point. Weight of persons, like that. Or some other examples are also there. Now again, there are two major approaches for gathering collection of data. This is the for collection of data collection. There are two major approaches for gathering information about the situation, person, problem, or phenomena. Now, data collection plays a very crucial role in the statistical analysis. In research, there are different methods used to gather information based on the data can be characterized as primary data, and the second one is secondary data. That means collection of data plays a very crucial role in the statistical analysis. In researcher, there are different methods are used to gather information based on the data can be characterized. That means if a person needs data for his investigation, if he collects the data first time, is known as primary data. That is also known as the raw data. After collecting this data, he has to analyze, summarize, and organize and interpretation, which is for his research area. Using this area, another person has to use for his research, which is known, this data is known as secondary data. First person collected and second person is used that data is known as secondary data. That is very, very important. This is the data collection. Data collection is the process of acquiring information from different sources about the topic under research. Data collection is the process of acquiring information from different sources, not only one or two sources. They have to collect the data from different sources for his research area. Now, statistics deals not only with organization and analysis of data once it has been collected, but also with the development of technique for collecting data. If data is not properly collected, an investigator may not be able to answer the questions under consideration with a reasonable degree of confidence. If the data is not properly collected, an investigator should not be able to answer the questions which arises in their research areas also. With reasonable answers, he did not give the solutions for that with confidence levels also. Therefore, collecting data is more important technique that we have to collect the data before we have to use the data. Now, there are two major approaches for gathering information about the situation of a person. Two major approaches. Now, that means one is the primary and other is the secondary. Data collection plays a crucial role in statistical analysis. In research, there are different methods used to gather the information. All are fall into two categories. One is primary and other is secondary. Primary data is collected for first time by the researcher. Only we are saying that it is used for first time for researcher. That is, it is the actual and original, where as the secondary data is just analysis and interpretation of the primary data. This is the original and actual data, whereas the secondary data is the just analysis and interpretation of the primary data. That means secondary data is already collected or produced by the others. That means primary data is the first person's data, secondary data is the already collected person, data is already collected by other person that we have to use for our analysis and interpretation, which is known as the secondary data. These are the major differences between the primary data and the secondary data. Now, let us here divide into very important question for examination point of view. They write down the distinguish the differences between the primary data and secondary data for examination point of also. Here, meaning, what is the meaning of the primary data? Primary data refers the first-hand data gathered by the researcher himself. That is the primary data. Secondary data means the data collected by someone else earlier. That is the meaning of the primary data and secondary data. And coming to the data, it is a real-time data. Primary data is the real-time data. Now secondary data, it is a already collected the first person, therefore he has to use the second person, therefore it is known as the past data. It is not the real-time data. Now coming to the process, it is a very time-consuming, here quick and easy process to process the data. Now coming to sources of the primary data and secondary data. Coming to the source of the primary data, survey, experiment, interviews and observations and questionnaires, that are the important sources that we have to use and collect the primary data from the source. And after collecting this one, it will be stored in some other places, in books or journals or in newspapers or internal records or government publications or websites. These data that we have to stored in some other these one, therefore we call this one as the secondary data. We call this one as the secondary data. Next, now what is the cost? Related to the cost of this primary data and secondary. Primary data is more expensive because it has to collect the data with the first hand time by using expensive cost, and this is the already collected data, which is recorded data, which is available in the websites or books or journals, whatever that. Therefore it is very economical. And collection time, that is the time which is a long process. Primary data, this is a short process. And available in available, where it is available, it is in the form of raw form, it is the refined form, it is available in the refined form. That means already it is segregated and in the different available forms, it is refined form also. And what is the specific nature of the primary data and the secondary data? It is always specific to the research needs. Whatever the researcher needs to data, observations, data, characters, data, fields, he has to specify in that area, he has to collect the data. For his own purpose, it is very useful and specific. It may be useful or may not be useful to other researcher. Therefore, it may or may not be specific to the researcher. That we have to say like this. And coming to the accuracy and reliability, first hand data is more accuracy and reliability. That means primary data is more accuracy and reliability. And secondary data is relatively less accuracy. Relatively less accuracy. And again, specific. It is always specific to the researcher needs, may or may not be specific to the researcher needs. And information, this is the first hand data and this is the second hand data. And forms of the data, it is a pure and raw data and it is a refined. Collector and user, same person here is used the different persons. Therefore, this ends the differences between the raw data, primary data and secondary data. These are the simple definitions and techniques that you have to use for data science related to the first part of the data science. Now after that we move into the variables and the types of variables and what are the dependent variables and what are the independent variables that you have to know tomorrow class. And after that we have to distinguish and uses the types of histograms, graphs, bar charts like that by qualitative data as well as quantitative data also. Thank you. Amma. Image.